sharing your stories and your tips on how to deal with postnatal depression. This was actually one of my favourite desserts in school. It is so good. We'll give you some home truths about pregnancy 101. Day 363 in isolation.
I'm getting so close to shaving my hair. I try and cut my hair.
Watching your vines, not vines, what are they called? TikToks. Mark's watching his TikToks. Good morning, good afternoon everyone. I've just started to upload the last vlog that hopefully you will have seen by now. Today is Saturday, so it's the bank holiday weekend, and we have not had actually a bad start to the day. We're actually going to go ahead and Marcus wants to try that coffee that everyone's been having on Instagram. What's it called, Marcus? Dalgona? Marcus?
I don't know. I'm not sure. You googled it, I don't know what it's called.
This is, do you realise how miserable you look right now?
What do you mean?
You're so miserable.
This is like week 3 of lockdown.
You're not really miserable. He wants to try that dalgona or whatever coffee it is that everyone wants. So he's actually giving me the torturous task of making it for him when I can't have any. So that's fun times. Then we're going to hopefully go ahead and get our barbecue going. That would ask. I've got the whole fam bam in here today. Ooh, talk, speech. I'm going to go ahead and try this now. So I just boiled the kettle. So it says I need instant coffee, sugar, hot water and milk. This is apparently a Korean coffee, which I'm sure you've probably all seen. Add 2 tablespoons of this. Oh, I love the smell of coffee. 2 tablespoons of sugar. I guess you can adjust the sugar to your preference. So that is a lot of sugar. And then hot water. So how much do I need? I need 2 tablespoons of very hot water. Oh, is that it? I think it's supposed to serve 2 people, but I'm giving it all to you. Voila! That actually doesn't look too shabby. Not too bad, Irsa, not too bad. Hey Marcus. It looks quite cool, doesn't it?
Is that right?
Yeah, what do you mean is that right?
Is the white bit not supposed to be on top and the coffee at the bottom? Because I'm sure you're supposed to have more coffee than thingy.
No, this is like the picture.
Okay, yeah, it looks cool.
You're so ungrateful. Give me, I'm spilled down the drain.
How do I drink it? Is that all milk?
Yeah, I think you have to mix it. I think that's literally just for effect.
I'm trying to push it down into the milk.
No, just stir it. It has 2 tablespoons of sugar in it, Marcus. Verdict?
That's absolutely disgusting.
Really? Let me try it. Is it that bad? Genuinely? Maybe it's better. It smells nice. No, I kind of like it.
You can't have it.
Oh no, I can't. If I was allowed to have it, I would drink that. Managed to put the chicken, so we've got some peri peri chicken and some tandoori chicken, and we've got our corn on the cob ready, and then we are also doing some burgers too. The idea is to put the chicken in the wraps. We're gonna have chicken wraps, and then we're gonna have the burgers in burger buns. There are only 2 of us that live here, believe it or not, and I don't know why we think we can eat so much. Just that you know, we make the marinade ourselves, but because obviously sauces and we're just trying to make do with what we've got in the house, is I used that chicken tikka marinade from Regal, which they sent us in like a pack quite a while ago, and then we also used this peri peri marinade as well. Marcus is getting the fire going for us.
Chef Irsa.
Oh, that's what you want, isn't it? The sizzle.
We get the corn as well.
Yeah. Oh my god. So excited, we've got our burgers. Waiting for the corn on the cob to be done as well. Marcus managed to get the fire going too, so that's really nice. I just had to show you this corn on the cob, even though it's not focusing. It is so good.
She talks about being so good. She's told about 5 people, a family. She's telling the vlog. She's telling anyone she can.
Tell anyone.
She's had about 1 bite. It's going to be cold by the time she gets eaten. It's so good corn.
It's so good. Day 363 in isolation. officially communicate like owls. Doo-doo, doo-doo.
Give me a drink.
It's funny because he did it like that as well. Marcus and I can go for a quick walk now. We're not going to go too far. I need to come back, need to sort the washing out and just any other bits and bobs that need doing in the house really. Take myself a little snack, Snickers ice cream. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I'm obsessed with these at the minute. Ooh. Hey, hi. I don't remember where I left off the vlog, but I think it was on a Saturday, maybe. So today is Easter Monday, so it's obviously a bank holiday, and we are gonna go and just basically, well, I said go. We need some milk, so I'm gonna send Marcus to the shop to get some milk for us, and then go for a walk as well. There's not really much else we have to do. I do fancy baking a cake today, so I'm hoping that hopefully I can get that done if I've got all the ingredients. So we are gonna bake an old school dish, not dish, dessert.
School dessert.
Old school dessert. I can't find my baking dish, so we're just gonna go with this oven-proof dish and hope that it works out, okay?
This woman, right, in isolation, I'll go into another room. Where you going? Where you going? Come back, come back.
No, don't say come back.
No, but you start kicking up a fuss if I don't come back, and then when you
I
go,
don't.
and then when you go, you drag me with you whenever you're going somewhere. I'm going toilet, come with me. I'm going downstairs to make some cereal, but come down with me.
I like your company, innit? What's wrong with that?
I am currently the tail on this dog. We are like day 18, day 19 of full lockdown. I'm getting so close to shaving my hair. I'm trying to cut my hair.
I keep telling him not to.
It's not even that bad, but I'm bored. I think that's what it is. Like, I can wait, but I'm bored. There's nothing better to do. All I'm doing at the minute is Xbox, or watching movies, or cooking, or cleaning, because you don't do that either.
To be fair, we're not doing that bad. Yesterday we had a lazy day where we stayed in bed all day, but how bad did that make you feel? I felt awful for it. I hated it.
Because every day is a lazy day. So that was even more of a lazy day.
Yeah, but I just felt really bad, and I think laying down all day, especially because I am at my most uncomfortable when I am laid down, because of night time and stuff, it just made me feel right rubbish. Must have done something to my hormones. Marcus says my pregnancy hormones have been really good.
Lines are off.
They're not that bad though, are they?
Getting worse. That's what I mean. But being cooped up, like, pray for me and keep me indoors. Being cooped up with a pregnant woman, isolation is dangerous. So dangerous. You've been alright, but then as it's getting more on top of you, this isolation thing, and then because you're being more hormonal because you're pregnant.
Yeah, but I'm not being. It's not hormonal.
Next level. Or what is it then?
It's just the whole feeling uncomfortable. What, like being like heavily pregnant.
Yeah, but what comes after being...
I've actually started to call myself heavily pregnant now.
But what comes after being uncomfortable? Your hormones. I could hear you upstairs before going, like making noises. That's what I get at the best of times. You're doing that to yourself, never mind what I get.
I was frustrated. So it's not it's very hard to explain, because it's not hormones. It's not because I'm being irrational. I think when you let hormones take over, you become more irrational. Where I'm not being irrational, it's just the fact of everything that's happening is factual. But I'm not taking that context too much. Like, I don't do it more than what it has to be. But I am in pain every time I toss and turn. Like, I'm in pain every time I have to get up in the middle of the night to go toilet. And it's also pain being at home all the time and not being able to stretch your legs properly. Like, the only time you get to stretch your legs is when you go on a walk. Whereas usually, because you'd be out and about anyway, do you know what I mean? Myself and Marcus's mum were talking about a birthing plan today as well. Oh my god. Stop it. Talking about a birthing plan, and I've decided I'm not gonna have one, because I feel like no matter what you do, it'll never go how you expect it to go. One thing I would like to avoid would be an epidural. If I can, at all costs, I would like to avoid that, because number one, the thought of it petrifies me, because they say if you don't keep still, and when there's an esthetician, when they put in it can actually paralyze you. I know it's like a small chance, it's just another risk in it. And then also a lot of people, including my sisters who have had epidurals, have said the back pain that you get from it later on in life is just not worth it.
Some people have said it's good, some people have said it's bad.
Yeah. I also don't want to try and be a hero because I know that's not possible. I don't know. Just the whole, the birthing plan wise, I've decided I'm not going to create one. And then, I'm going to try and go in as much as I can with gas and air, I think.
You've got the gas already, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true. It's factual. It happens in pregnancy. Get very gassy. Can't help it. It's not me, it's the baby.
It's you.
We'll give you some home truths about pregnancy 101. But the one thing that I think I would potentially be sad about would just be people not being able to see the baby, potentially, as we've established now, is going to be more than likely is going to be the case. But also that buzz you get when you have a firstborn baby, which I know a lot of people who probably have kids will be like, just enjoy it, because when people come and see the baby it's all hectic anyway. But like, you know, the whole like balloons and flowers and people like coming round, you know.
But not even that, you've got to think about postnatal depression as well. You need to be around people at the same time. Having a newborn baby and all the stresses that come with it, and you're at home on your own, currently in a tense and stressful environment. I think actually we touched on something really important there as well. Like, my sister's already tried to have the conversation with me and has just said, if you feel down whatsoever, stop it, why are you doing that? We were getting somewhere. Want me to do something else with you? Leave me alone. This is what I genuinely, this is what I mean. Leave me alone, woman.
You know, people are going to think we're genuinely
we have so many rooms in this house, yet we have to be in the same one. We should have bought a one-bedroom open flat. You've got the bedroom, you've got your kitchen, and we just live all in one space, so I can watch you when you're on the toilet. I can watch you when you're in bed, when you're cooking. I'll still be there, but I'll be somewhere else. But at least it's open plan.
Shut up. Anyways, my sister already had the conversation, with me, and said that if you do feel any form of like being down, or don't try and do everything yourself and like try and be a hero. If you feel down after the birth, to definitely say
You're
something.
definitely not someone that do everything yourself.
No, I would definitely share the responsibility. And then I think Marcus was also quite, which is nice of you as well, try to have that conversation with me of don't try and put everything on your own head. And to be vocal, because if you have just had a baby, I can imagine how hard it is to you, like in this moment in time, and you are feeling a little bit down and stressed about it.
To Irsa was obviously once this is all over, or whenever the case, when I'm in work, I don't want her to be building up stress and breaking down at home, and then thinking that when I get home from work she needs to continue doing it because I've been at work all day. So I've said, don't obviously hesitate to talk to me, make sure that I'm involved as much as possible, because that time when I do get back will be the time when you've got to relax yourself, really.
Yeah, I think postnatal depression is such a big thing and it affects a lot of people more so than what we think it would. But obviously the one advice that everyone would give you, and I know it seems like so simple, but I could only say that from speaking to people who have been through it in the past, is just speaking to someone to sort of relieve that burden of stress, and just to feel it sort of, you know, from people that have had it, have just said the minute that you start speaking about it is the minute it starts to get better. There's always some form of help, and there's also helplines out there as well. You can always speak to your midwife about it too. Just don't be afraid to go ahead and ask for that help, because getting yourself in like a really bad state of mind is not only unhealthy for yourself but for your baby too. I know it's easier for me to talk about it now because obviously I'm not going through anything like that. However, maybe I'll watch back and take my own advice if I end up going through something like that, which hopefully inshallah I won't, but you never know. All I'm going to say is that it's something that I think is a lot more common than what we think it is. This cake is starting to look so good. Guys, I'm literally so pleased with how this has turned out. Just need to do a taste test, so I'm gonna let the icing set a little bit, but it looks so good. This was actually one of my favourite desserts in school. When they used to do this and I used to see it, I used to be so happy, along with flapjack and custard, but I think this was definitely number one. Hey, So the last clips you would have seen on this video were when Marcus and I were just starting to touch about certain things in regards to pregnancy and stress, etc. And it got me thinking, and I thought I can't really sit here and talk about postnatal depression or anything like that when it's not something that I've experienced. God forbid, I hope I don't experience it, but no one's immune to it. And I also don't want to wait to see whether I go through something like that before I speak up about it, when I know there's so many of you that are pregnant at the same time as I am, and I'm just hoping that speaking about it now would help someone out there, if that makes sense. I went on Instagram and I asked, just if you wouldn't mind keeping everything anonymous, just sharing your stories and your tips on how to deal with postnatal depression. And I'm just hoping that if any one of you watching this is going through it or has been through it, whatever it is, it just helps you in some way. Or if you know someone and you might recognise the signs from a couple of things that we talk about, that you're able then to reach out and basically help them out. And just before we carry on a bit of a lighter note, because someone DM'd me about this on Instagram, that sweatshirt you saw me tie-dye, this is it. So from the last vlog, I think it turned out pretty okay. I quite like it. But anyways, going back to the important issues, what I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and read out people's examples of what they went through and also what their advice is who have dealt with postnatal depression. And hopefully, like I said, this will just help someone out there who needs it right now. There was so many of you that messaged me, honestly I was shocked about it. A lot of the advice I got was very similar, so I'll try to pick out as many of the things that were said and examples and stories that I think are different. So someone said, remember, it's only going to last for a while. They grow up and change really quickly. Go out, get some fresh air, get dressed, still have date nights, and don't lose yourself. A story that someone sent me as well, so I'll read their story out, keeping it completely anonymous. So I got a message saying, please don't mention my name, but I suffered really badly when I had my son 21 months ago. Looking back now, I'm so grateful for my health visitor. She kept coming back to see me. I was honest with her about how I felt and the pressures of our community and culture and how we should be perfect mums like the last generation. I was advised to see a doctor, but they didn't do much when I went 3 times. But because I was BF, I'm not quite sure what that stands for, sorry, I was advised medicine wasn't the option. So when my son was 6 months old, I decided enough was enough. I didn't want to suffer anymore or waste any more maternity leave. My advice would be to get out and about, eat and drink, don't fall into a trap of thinking you don't have time, sleep when the baby sleeps or rest at least, and most importantly, talk to your friends, family or partner. Sorry for being rambly, but looking back, I learned a lot. Also, pregnant baby number 2, I'm hoping not to fall into the trap again. Oh, congratulations on baby number 2, and I'm so happy to hear that you actually got out of it. So obviously the advice from that was, well, the example we can take from that story for me personally is that it's commendable, because even though she went to the doctor 3 times and the doctor was like, no, I didn't recognise the signs, whatever it was, she still then didn't give up, and from somewhere got the mental strength to then carry on and actually talk to someone else about it. And this is something I learned from a lot of the messages that I saw, that if you are suffering from postnatal depression, if someone doesn't recognise the signs, because sometimes you don't even recognise it yourself and you feel like you spoke to someone but it didn't really register, it didn't help, please don't give up and look at talking to someone else. Unfortunately, as sad as it is, we might not get the help that we need the first time round or the first time we speak up about it, which I know can really deter people, because then they'll sort of give up and think, well, what is the point? But from a lot of the stories that I've read, that would be the case. If you feel like you're really down, you're not yourself, and you've spoken to someone and you feel like you've got nowhere, just please try another person or another avenue and just see how you get on from there. Maybe if it didn't work with a spouse, try with a friend. If it didn't work with a friend, try with like your siblings. Let yourself feel your emotions. No one has the right to judge you, as they don't know what's in your head. And then I've got some more advice. Someone wrote, get outside, get air, take some time for yourself, like a nice long shower or a trip to the mall. Set up dates with your family and your friends. Have people checking in with you at different times. So I assume that'd be if you recognise a little bit more about, hey, you know what, I'm actually suffering with postnatal depression. Once you get to that stage, and if you feel comfortable enough, don't be afraid to let the people around you be aware of that. And I'm going to touch on the fact, this is not me saying it, it's been mentioned on the messages that I've got, but a lot of them are repetitive, that some people have said that from certain communities the elders don't recognise the postnatal depression as much and don't acknowledge it, and don't actually see it as being like a real life issue, if that makes sense. Someone else wrote, tell someone you trust or write it down in a book and cry and let it all out if you want to. Remember that it's normal, you're not alone, and loads of women feel like this. It's not embarrassing, always speak up if you're feeling low in order to receive help. There's a prenatal mental health team, maternity ward in every hospital giving specialised care. Communication with your partner, family, doctor, friends, let them know how you feel, and midwife, sorry. If you don't feel comfortable, let's say for example speaking to your partner about it, don't forget you do have your midwife there, and they sort of do hold your hand when you first have your baby as well. So don't be afraid to open up to your midwife a little bit. Maybe it's easier to talk to someone who's a bit more of a stranger than it is someone that you do know. Everyone's different, everyone feels differently about speaking to certain people about certain things. So else, it's very common, talk about it to your loved ones, don't keep it inside you. Don't try to convince yourself you don't have it. I ignored it the first and the second time. Finally, the third time I accepted it and it helped me a lot. I told myself it's normal and I'm not a bad mum for feeling like this, because your life changes within a day and you're responsible for a new little life. It can get very overwhelming. Hope it goes well for you, inshallah. Oh, thank you. One is, I'm a mental health nurse. How to tackle postnatal depression. Speak to others. Involve your partner in taking care of your baby. Mindfulness. Create a support network. Seeking professional support, baby groups to meet new mums. So I think that's definitely something that I would say as well, is if you are feeling down, maybe look at venturing out and joining a local baby group, because you'll have lots of, whether it's experienced mum or whether it's a first time mum, you'll have so much experience there. Because if you've not had family members who have gone through it, like for example I'm quite lucky, I've got sisters who have had babies and you know we're quite close so we can all discuss these things. But if you've not got that, maybe going to a support group, and none of your friends, you know, have babies, so you don't feel like you can relate to them, going to a support group and having new mums there, you can all discuss and sort of share how you're feeling and what techniques you've got. Maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed, and with a bunch of like new mums, you'd never know, there might be like 10 of you, but 3 of you might be going through the exact same thing, and just opening up and having that conversation, or even speaking to people who are going through the exact same thing as you at the exact same time, might just help. Someone else wrote, constant support. I didn't have that and suffered for 6 months. I didn't even know I had postnatal depression. So I think that's a lot of the things that I've received as well, is recognising the signs of it. Because a lot of you messaged me about stuff and I was like, I didn't even realise that would technically be a sign of postnatal depression. Someone else said just being really panicky and not wanting to leave their child alone. And for me, I was just like, wow, I would not see that as being postnatal depression. I would see that as, oh my god, you're probably a new mum and you're getting really protective of like your baby, and that's why you don't want to leave them. But no, that's not the case. And like another example, someone wrote, I suffered from it. I would not eat all day and I would cry for no reason. I felt so ugly and fat and all sorts. Else wrote, research it before you even have the baby so both you and your partner know the signs to get help. It's still such a stigma in our community to get medicine, but it helped me so much. I had it and didn't know until baby was about 4 or 5 months, and suddenly it all made sense. I didn't tell anyone at first as I was ashamed, but now I am open about it. The more we talk about it, the more it helps everyone. Avoid the pressure to bounce back to how you were. That woman is not coming back. Just enjoy the new you. And I think that's definitely such another important aspect as well, is don't expect, we grow and we change all the time. I mean, I'm definitely not the 15-year-old me, and I'm so glad that I'm not. I'm definitely not myself, the same person I was when I was 15, and I'm sure after this baby I'm not going to be the same person. But that doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. We adapt and we change and we learn how to love the new person that we are, and we embrace that and we become an even better version. So for the mamas who had C-sections, don't let it get you down. Don't be afraid to rely on support offered, and don't breastfeed if you don't want to. Just touching on that, we all get told, oh well, you know, it's best for your baby that if you do breastfeed, but doing that, like I said, it's just another trigger. By surrounding ourselves with everything of, oh, this is how a perfect mother should be, oh, this is what a good mother would do for a child, you know, a good mother would breastfeed a child, not use a bottle. everyone is different. Like, don't think, oh well, just because I'm not doing it by the book, and you know, everyone expects me to be able to do this, but it hurts, I can't do it, for some reason the baby's not latching, and that could just trigger someone off. All you need to think is that it's different for everyone. There's so many people out there, so many babies out there who haven't been breastfed, you know, there's so many babies out there who don't use wet water wipes, and you know, all these different things. Everyone's got an idea of how a child should be raised and what you should do for a baby. Everyone's different. None of our mothers raised us all the same, so to do things differently is 100% okay. Like, going back to that message, if you can't breastfeed, you can't breastfeed. There's other things out there that you can do for your baby instead. And that said, do something for yourself so it seems normal, not that your life has ended because of the baby. Go out for walks, talk to people and your partner if you feel down, to stay away from any kind of negative talk, as it can trigger, make it worse. Stay around positive people, someone you are close to. Constant encouragement is needed. Most people can't handle being a new mum and everything's changed. Just know that things will get back to normal, and you can just make the baby a part of your routine and life. If mums get depressed, I did, just know it takes up to 2 weeks to get used to BF, but worth it. Pamper yourself, don't walk around like a slob and go out. So I guess that's someone's one way of putting that. Don't forget to do things that make you feel good as well. Someone wrote, I was in a very dark place, struggled to bond with my baby, get professional help if needed. And I've read that quite a few times. So a lot of people said that they didn't bond with the baby straight away, and that made them feel really bad, and that made them feel like, well, you know, am I a bad mum for the fact that I don't bond with my child? Why do I not feel this? Why do I not feel maybe the overwhelming love that everyone describes? People don't bond with their baby straight away. From a lot of the comments that I've read, a lot of people, which I'm so surprised actually came out and said it and were like, I didn't bond with my baby straight away, but that was okay. Recognizing that I didn't have that bond, then getting help is what helped me become an even better mother than what I thought I would be. So that is such a powerful message. And that said, rest after delivery, it was the biggest mistake I made. I'm guessing they didn't rest after delivery, and that's what they regret. It is true. Don't be afraid to pile off your partner. One thing my sister said to me as well, and my sister said she wouldn't mind me mentioning this because she actually suffered quite heavily with postnatal depression, is she said that I shouldn't feel like, because Marcus has been at work all day, if he was to come home, that the baby's still my responsibility, that I couldn't ask him for the evening, actually could you take over for a little bit now, just because he's been at work, because I didn't want to be a burden. She wouldn't ask for that help. You know, the babies don't create themselves. there's another person there that's played that part, and if you are still together or whatever your situation is, if you can, don't feel that guilt. You know, as a father as well, they'll want to spend as much time as they can with their baby, and we just need to remember that we're not a burden, the child's not a burden, we're a family, we're a unit, we work together, and teamwork is what works best. So I said, having a partner support just helps so much. Take turns with the baby, get sleep, eat healthy, most importantly ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. There you go, that's true. If you're also quite a spiritual or religious person, you know, sometimes praying and talking to the one above always helps as well. You know, whether you're Muslim or whatever religion it is that you follow, don't forget that you've got the best listener out there. Someone said, you need to understand you have it and discuss it with your partner. Many men do not know about this, which I do think is a valid point, because a lot of people message me as well saying, look at possibilities before the baby's here. So if you're still expecting, and God forbid you do end up going through postnatal depression, but it's definitely something that you should look into before, and sit down with your partner and have that conversation so that they recognize the signs if something happens, because you won't necessarily recognize them even though you've researched it, but you might not recognize it even if you do end up going through it. So make sure you sit down with your partner or your support system, whoever's going to help you bring up this baby, and you go through the signs of it. So if you don't recognize it yourself, they'll pick up and they recognize it, and you do know what to expect if that is to happen and what help it is that you need to get. Every mother and child is different. Don't compare yourself to others, go at your own pace. Someone wrote, ask for help, ask people to help with baby duties and rest, be messy and lazy. Someone said, listening to ebooks whilst late night feeding helps keep you distracted. Someone wrote, rest when you need to, don't do extra work if it's not necessary. Never say no if someone offers to help. Don't, like I said before, don't feel like you're a burden. If someone offers to help, take it on who I actually know. Message saying, this is very close to my heart, needs to be made more of a talking point so it's not a taboo anymore, because that can save lives. I had postnatal depression, extremely bad, worst I've ever felt in my life. I didn't get any support emotionally from family and they thought I was a useless mum, which is very painful and added to my depression. My best friend one day, whilst I was with my best friend one day, I broke down to her, helped me self-refer, and I got counselling. Honestly, don't think I'd be alive today if I didn't. So that's like, that actually really gets to me a lot. You know what, reading through these, I don't get emotional, but reading through like these messages that everyone sent and the stories that people sent, like really got to me. The reason I wanted to do this video as well, I'm sorry if none of that makes sense, or if I was just reeling off stuff and it wasn't like in the best of you know, in the best context or whatever it is. It's just because, especially in this time where we are in the house a lot and we do feel, I think, lonelier than ever, even if you do live with people, because you are sort of trapped in the same sort of routine and we can't go out because of everything that's going on, is that I just want you to remember you can still pick up the phone to someone to have that chat, whether it's your midwife, whether it is your friend. Don't be afraid, you're not a burden to anyone. It's hard enough going through postnatal depression anyway, but then also going through it in this current situation. It's just, yeah. Mine was not like the average person you hear of normally. With my first, I was so attached and consumed with my baby's well-being. I couldn't look after myself or be there for my husband to the point I resented him. I was so overprotective of my baby that I didn't trust him in anyone's care, not even his own father's care. It was a really crazy time. Even got to the point where I was going to end up in a divorce, but alhamdulillah it got better as time went on, and my in-laws and husbands just let me get on with it and I came out of it myself. Again, alhamdulillah, I'm now okay and expecting again. Congratulations. However, I do look back and laugh. Didn't at the time though, because I turned into someone I didn't recognise and I was a monster. I pray may Allah SWT make it easy for all mums and mothers to be, and I pray that in-laws and husbands make things easier for the mother/mother to be. Also, if anyone's going through it or if they ever go through that, please allow the mother to do her thing, because if you try to force it out of it, you'll only make it worse. For example, postnatal depression is hard. I had it with my firstborn. I always had an idea that once my baby was born I would be in this bubble, but seriously, the day we got sent home from hospital it was all downhill for around 7 months. I was breastfeeding, so every night when I would do the night feed I would see my tears fall down onto my little boy, and that would break me even more. I would apologise to him every day, sometimes 20 times a day. I wanted to be the best mum in the world and I felt like I was doing something wrong. My husband and my mum reassured me every single second of the day, but I just felt like I wasn't worth it. I would never have ever harmed my son, but I've heard stories of women who do hurt their children due to postnatal depression, and that's heartbreaking. The breaking point for me was an evening around 6 PM. My husband was getting ready for a night shift. I can't remember exactly why I had this breakdown, but I screamed and I actually peed myself and threw a remote at my husband, and he had my son in his arms, and I stopped and I thought that, what the hell have I become? Why am I doing this? I begged and cried to my husband not to go to work, and I was genuinely worried I was going to hurt my son and didn't trust myself around him. My husband took the evening off. The very next day I called a private therapist my dad found for me, and I started going to therapy twice a week, and honestly after 1 month of going I felt like a new person. My son is 2 in June and I still go, and I feel like postnatal depression stays with you forever. I'm due my second child in October inshallah, and this is something that worries me constantly, but this time round I've already spoken to my husband openly and expressed I need to be positive and happy, as with my son there was a lot of interference from my in-laws and that was putting negative thoughts around me. This time I've promised myself things will be different. Alhamdulillah, I'm 15 weeks soon and I feel totally different, and inshallah pray to stay positive. Please keep me and your baby in your prayers as I do you and your family. Oh, and then she said loads of nice things to me. Thank you so much. Wow. I don't even know what to, this is what I mean, is I really don't want to put my opinion into it too much, because like I said I can't relate to it in that aspect, but honestly I commend you all so much for actually opening up and sharing your stories. I appreciate it so much, because I'm hoping someone can recognise that, as though, you know what, well actually I've, you know, tears have been streaming down my face and I can't control it. Why am I apologising to my baby so much? And that could, now if someone watches this, if you're watching this and you you went through the same thing, or you're going through the same thing, you can now recognize that you need to speak up and you need to ask for that help. Here's another example. My postnatal depression was awful. I find myself crying, not little tears, but a huge bawl, wailing sort of crying. I'd keep it to myself and try to cry in private. In front of everyone, I wore a smile and seemed happy/normal. On the inside, I just wanted everyone to leave so I could cry my heart out. At first, I couldn't understand why this was happening. Then all of a sudden, I began to feel guilty for bringing a soul into the world that I wouldn't be able to look after. I have a disability. Being Pakistani, I was and still am surrounded by such negativity. How am I going to be able to hold my child? I'm unable to hold my child. How I'm going to be a crap mum? But I can hold my baby, and I do hold him, and all that contributed. The time where I knew I needed to speak to someone was where I started believing my baby hated me. I spoke to my HB, who was so hands-on and was amazing. Once diagnosed with mild depression, I was able to handle the situation head-on, and alhamdulillah, I was quickly able to talk about how I felt, what and why I felt in such a way. Talking really helps. Don't keep it locked inside. Going to another story. My brother got engaged just as I found out I was pregnant second time around. Already had a 20-month-old. Spent my pregnancy occupied with wedding preps. Gave birth, and straight away I was back to organising my brother's wedding. As I was on maternity leave, it was all left to me. Juggling a toddler with a newborn who I was fully breastfeeding and wedding preps, it was difficult, but I got through it until the walima. Months of feeling low and pushing it away due to the wedding finally caught up on me. I went back to work in September, and that's when it got real. I was in denial, thinking my baby is now 10 months. How on earth can I be depressed? I completely lost my confidence. I couldn't even look at people in the eye whilst talking to them due to the low self-esteem. Long story short, 10 months of letting it build up and suppressing it just led to self-harm. Finally saw the doctor 2 months ago, who was helping me through it. Talk to someone as soon as you feel low. So that's another point. Don't put it off. If you feel, let's say you felt low for 2 days or whatever it is, don't keep putting off thinking, oh, I'll get over this period, or you know what, it's fine, it's just my hormones, I'll let it settle. No, the minute you start to feel low is the minute you need to start documenting it with someone, whether it's, like I said, whether that's with your midwife, whether it's with your friend, just so someone's starting to be aware of how you're feeling. Document it straight away. Don't wait. And like they said, they waited 10 months and it finally caught with them. So another message. I had an extremely depressed time of my life after I had my baby. I was feeling ugly. I was feeling behind on everything. At times I felt no one loved me, but my husband helped me so much. The sad part is my own family didn't take me serious, and my sister stopped talking to me since then just because I was rude in my downtimes. My advice to you is, if you ever feel behind or less in any way, just know that it's not true. It will take time, but you will be back. Just share your feelings to those who really care about you, and lots of love and praise for you and the baby. Thank you. And then that's another thing that's been brought up so much, is that families don't recognise it. People feel like they can't, or like with the older generation, that they don't recognise postnatal depression or like any form of depression. It's real. I know it's so hard, like it's easier said than done, but if you confide in someone who doesn't understand it, whether it's like your mum, whether it's your mother-in-law, whether it's, you know, whoever, someone that's maybe of like an older generation, every culture is different, and they don't recognize them, like, oh, you'll be fine. Don't let that burden sit with you and think, oh well, they've told me I should be fine now. They're not professionals. They might not recognize it. Doesn't mean that it's not real. Right guys, for now I'm gonna stop there because I don't know how much sense this video made, and I'm just hoping that by reading out people's advice who have been through postnatal depression, by reading your stories as examples, if you recognise that in someone else, or if you recognise it in yourself, that you go out there and you get the help that you need. You just need to talk to that one person and get the ball rolling. And like I said, if it doesn't work out with that one person, try someone else. There's always someone out there who can help you. And don't be afraid to reach out for help. You're not a bad person for feeling like this, and you can get through it. This is just a phase in your life. Just remember how many times you felt sad before. It might not be as bad as how sad you're feeling now, but you always laugh again. Like I said, I didn't want to go into it too much myself, because I'd rather just read facts of people that have gone through it, just so it can help anyone recognize any signs, rather than just giving my opinion on it, because that would have been irrelevant and wouldn't have really not sort of mattered as much. But it's not something that I could relate to personally just yet, only from the side of I have seen people go through it, but I still don't feel like that was enough for me to talk about it off my own back. But if you want me to talk about this again and maybe do a longer video where it's just based on this, and you want me to go ahead and read out more stories or whatever it is, or examples, I know someone even mentioned prenatal depression, which I think is whilst you're still pregnant, which is a very much real thing as well. I can go ahead and, you know, ask for people's help again, so we can have that discussion. Just let me know. That first step is all you need to take, and then hopefully everything will snowball from there for you, and everyone will be able to give you the help and support that you need. I can't talk about this anymore because I will end up bawling like a child. But I appreciate everyone so much. Thank you so much for sending me your examples and trusting me with your stories. I really appreciate it. I've kept everything anonymous. I'm gonna try and sit down now this evening and actually reply to a lot of the messages and DMs that I got as well, because I can't just leave it like that. I apologise if I don't get through to you. Maybe the message got lost in my DMs, but I will sit there and aim to get through every single one. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this video helps someone, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one. Bye.